Welcome, Selo.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Good morning. It's good to see you.
All right, good to see you.
Welcome to Tulsa.
Welcome to Tulsa. Welcome from Texas, both of us.
You know, we could have done this in Waco or Burleson. We didn't have to come to Tulsa for
drove
this.
4 hours and 6 hours to sit here and have
Yes.
have some drinks and have a discussion.
Correct. So is this Cookie's Corner?
This is Cookie's Corner.
Awesome. Welcome.
Most people here, when you're watching, don't realize that they actually have chairs in here.
Yes.
Chairs in here. So took the time to revamp a little bit. I like what you did with the place.
Looks good.
Really
Looks
good. Excellent.
A little bit. It's kind of bachelor vibes.
Okay, I gotta get rid
bachelor
of the pillow here. Okay, there we go. Whew, I was working on my back there. All right. So what are we talking about?
So let's talk about next gen.
Okay, let's start over. We'll go though. He can edit all this out.
No, this is all good. There's no editing.
No editing.
That's the rule
Rules
for this podcast.
All right,
Zero
sweet.
editing.
All right, well, then let's
Raw
go.
and
Welcome to
real.
Cookie's Corner.
Yes.
We're filling in. Takes two of us to be able to fill her
Bring
presence.
that to, if we're going to match the depth
of
knowledge,
understanding,
spiritual understanding and depth.
and the leadership.
Yeah.
It takes both of us
To go about half.
to go. Yeah, to get
Both
at
of
least
us
halfway.
combined are half of Cookie's spirituality.
There you
Yes.
go.
Okay.
All right. We were talking earlier, and you had shared something on our Q1 event, and so you made a statement. We were talking about. I can't even remember what we were talking about. I can't remember what we were discussing.
Fred was the one leading it.
He was leading.
And it was about next gen and passing the baton kind of stuff.
Yeah, moving forward.
Yeah.
And you had shared a scripture over in Kings, I believe it's 2 Kings 18, where Hezekiah.
Hezekiah. That's been an associate pastor of mine before. Heck, Isaiah.
Not Hezekiah.
Right.
Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
You had shared how he came in, and the very staff and serpent that Moses built, bronze, had it up there.
Yeah, actually, so let's talk about so there's the bronze serpent.
Right.
Okay, so
That Moses built.
Yes.
Right? You had shared that scripture and how God told him to build that so
Yeah.
that the people would be healed.
right, they'd gotten bitten by snakes.
So as long as they were looking upon it, that they would be healed.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward. So when you shared that, I went back and I started looking at that because it's very interesting to me. It's one of those things that you read all the time, but until somebody's like, "Hey, let me shine this light on that,"
There's
you're
a
like,
connection here.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So that process of time that went by there was about 700 to 800 years.
Wow.
When I was looking at that, and I was like, "That's a long time."
Between Moses and Hezekiah, King Hezekiah. Yeah.
I can't say that word.
Hezekiah.
I can't say his name. Keeps wanting to come out, but I can hear it here, but it's not coming out here. So like 700 to 800 years in that time frame, which that's a long time for tradition. That's a long time. And then it's because they began to worship the very thing that Moses was instructed for healing. And as I was studying that out and looking at that, I thought about the church today, right? If we've been in ministry, if the churches have been in existence 30, 40 years, that could feel like 700 to 800 years, right? Because you've got traditions, programs.
It's always been done this way.
Yeah, we've done it this way.
Yeah.
I was visiting with a pastor a couple of years ago, and they would do this. They would do this event for 4th of July, and they would put all their money, all their resources, time, money, and energy into this event. It was huge. It was an all-day event, and it got to the point where the staff and the leadership were just tired of doing this event. They had been doing it for like 10 or 11 years or something like that. And so they approached the senior pastor and was like, "Why do we have to keep doing this?" And it was kind of a pulling teeth to get it to stop, but eventually it stopped. But going back to what you had shared, so he comes in and he's 25 years old.
Hezekiah.
Hezekiah. Yeah. When I'm reading that, I'm going, wait a minute, 25 years old?
It's a young whippersnapper.
That is very young, right? So if you were to take that and put that in today's context, they would be our 16, 17-year-old kid coming into the church.
Yeah.
After ministry's been going for, I don't know, 24.
Right.
20 to 24 years,
Right.
30 years, 40
This
years,
is
50 years.
pastor in their 50s or 60s, and the young whippersnappers
70s,
coming
80s,
in.
yeah, coming in at 16 years old. And he's like, hey, this is what we're doing. But it says, what I thought was really interesting towards the bottom of that, I forget which verse it is. It says that he was obedient to all the things that Moses had commanded, all the laws and commandments that Moses had done. He was obedient, and there was not a king like him before or after.
Wow.
But yet he's the guy that came in and tore down the very thing that Moses built, that was commanded by God to build. I thought that was very, very interesting. How that so much, and then I love what you shared in that Q1 is that how it paralleled with that next gen, what it looks like for us. How are we perceiving those as pastors coming in? I'm 55 years old. I thought I would be pastoring a church in my 40s. I didn't launch my church at Riverside till I was 45.
Okay.
And I thought I was old then.
Right.
Right. But you shared something also about the age of church planters and people going into full-time
according
ministry.
to Kerry Newhoff, and he seems to do his research, and I would assume that he knows what he's talking about. He's a pretty good podcast that he has. He made a comment and said that the average age of a church planter is 44. And that surprised me.
It's very surprising.
I guess that's within like the year 24 or 25, that the average age of a church planter 44 years old, which I thought was older than I would have expected.
Yeah, I would have thought probably late 20s, early 30s. But when you shared that, I was like,
right. So I stepped into lead pastoring when I was 29.
29.
And I was thinking,
I got saved at 27.
Okay. You weren't ready then. After 2 years? No, not
I had got saved and started serving God at 27.
Yeah.
So why do you think, or what do you think the cause is, the root cause? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that 20 or 40, 44, 45 is the age of church planters and people, individuals, men, women going into ministry or starting a church or just starting a ministry?
Right.
What do you think some of the,
I wonder
the reasons
if
behind that?
Those that are planning churches right now have been part of churches for their 20s and their 30s, and the leadership above them never trusted them with it, and their only option is to now start something new. I wonder if that plays into it, because it's possible that they've been at that church, but there's no forward movement.
Yeah.
The senior leadership or the pastors, they not going to retire.
Yeah.
They're going to keep doing this until their 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And so I'm not waiting here another 20 years. I'm going to start something myself. I mean, it might be that for some people.
You were throwing so many triggers, as young people say right now.
Right?
You're talking and I'm going, ooh, check that box, check that box. I'm not talking for myself.
Yeah. Because, and me too, I'm 46. I'm 46. And so I've been doing this 16 years now. A couple months before I turned 30, started Ovation Church. And so 16 years into it now, I'm 46, and I'm asking the questions, where's the 22-year-olds, the 24-year-olds, the 25-year-olds that I can platform, that I can disciple, that I can mentor, that I can push ministry to? Because they need 4 or 5 years of experience before they're good.
Yeah, trustworthy.
Yeah, until they've, one of the things Dean Radke says is experience is the currency of leadership.
Absolutely.
So if we're not letting the young mid-20-year-olds get experience, they're not good leaders at 30 because they haven't had the experience. And so now we can say, no, they're in leadership. They do what I tell them to do. That's not leadership.
Yeah.
We got to let them come up with ideas and fail boldly. That's experience.
Yes, and I think that's one of the challenges is us allowing them to fail.
Yeah.
Those you were just setting so many triggers off. So I was on paid staff full time. My wife and I were for 20 years at the church that we served.
Okay.
I had worked from ushering, cleaning the church, cutting the grass, ushering. I mean, literally just, if you will, just work my way up through the ranks.
Yeah.
Not intentionally. I wasn't stone stepping and I was just trying to be obedient to God.
You see a need and you meet it.
Yes, feel it, trying to be obedient to God. Well, as an executive pastor, I had conversation with my pastor about taking over the church. Like we had a meeting. He and I had a meeting. He says, "I want you to take the church, this location. I'm gonna go plant another church." Okay, so then we had that meeting. Then we had the meeting with our core staff, our elders, the board.
You're how old at that point?
Oh man, like 40. I'm probably right at 40.
Okay, because you'd been serving 20 years.
Yes, so I was like 40 years old. And then, so we let the staff know, we let the board know, everybody's, okay, this is what's fixing to happen. We're fixing to transition. Pastor Selo's fixing to take the church. We're building up for the second campus. We're doubling everything. Two head ushers, we're building
two worship teams,
yeah,
two
literally,
everything.
like yes, that's literally what we were building that. And then, so we let the board know, the staff, all of the leadership, and then, of course, the people that were serving. And then there was a presentation that was done in front of the congregation. Pastor Soul's going to be taking the church in the next year and a half. And so this whole thing was done. And then when we got to the first 12 months, everything changed. Like it was almost, you made a statement there, like, are they experienced enough? Are they good enough? My pastor never told me that I was never experienced enough. I had almost complete control of everything that was in ministry. But I feel like there was I felt like he held back because he didn't know what to do next.
Yeah.
And planning that church.
What's my role if you're doing what I'm doing?
Exactly. Yeah. He never said that, but the behavior, actions that we're taking, steps that were either missed or ignored in that to begin that process. And so I already knew that I was supposed to lead a church and pastor. Well, in doing that, that's where I began to struggle because I'm like, I'm supposed to pastor. I'm not getting the church, obviously. Like, well, I had that was a hard conversation. Like, I guess I'm not getting the church. But I didn't approach it that way. But I went to somebody, listen, Pastor, I really feel like I'm supposed to be pastoring. What is the time frame from me actually taking the church? And his response was anywhere between 5 to 6 years. Well, now now we're already a year in because it was supposed to be 18 months. And he says, well, how long do you feel like it is supposed to be before you actually start pastoring? I said, a year, 2 years, tops. And he goes, at that point, do you feel like you'll be disobedient? I said, absolutely. He says, okay, well, then let's plan your launch. That was the response. It wasn't, oh, we need to, let's move forward. And I wonder if that might be some of what other people are experiencing with senior pastors and senior pastors in the sense of not just senior as a senior pastor, but in their senior years, their late 70s, early 80s, even in their late 60s. I'm wondering if that might be some of what it is. Because when you shared that, I was like, oh my God, that sounds like I identified that with a whole bunch. I was like, where's my therapist?
Stop telling my story, right?
Right, where's my therapist?
So I'm wondering, okay, so 16 years into this, 46, which isn't that old. I realize that. Not when there's church planters at 40.
Yeah,
40,
I'm at halftime, man. 50.
There's there are churches right now that are planting 2 years into it at my age.
Right.
And they're just getting started. And so I have to recognize that too. So I'm thinking for myself, and maybe for some of the people that are watching, if you're younger, you're that younger generation feeling called to ministry, but you're wondering what that path looks like. And do you need to go out and start your own church? Or is there a way to serve within a capacity of the church that you're at, to be a campus pastor, to be the senior pastor under the founding pastor that passes it on? And what's that succession plan look like? And maybe you're wondering that. And what's the time frame?
Yeah, I think that's a vital question.
So those are great questions. So I'm thinking, okay, for me, what would I be looking for as a senior pastor to entrust in the younger leaders and ministers? And so I would want to see their own personal life stable. I have a hard time trusting people with ministry when they can't handle their own life.
Absolutely.
And it's dangerous to give them too much ministry because then they have influence in other people's lives. And if their life breaks down, the people connected to them often break down
as well.
And so if you're a young minister out there and it's like, I want to do ministry. Okay, are you loving your wife well?
Yes.
Are you handling your finances well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you going from crisis to crisis in life? Is there nothing but drama in the room when you walk away?
Yeah.
Then you're not ready for ministry.
Absolutely.
And so you've got to develop some of that.
I think I would add to that is, are you so concerned with self-care that you're not caring for others?
Right.
Because I mean, I know self-care is a big deal with the generation.
Yeah.
And not that self-care is not important.
Right. Your soul matters. That's good.
Yes. But sometimes we can lean so far to the side of that spectrum where it's just about me, my time, my boundaries,
Right.
This. Yeah. I need this.
I think one of the entry points for ministry is death.
To self.
Yes.
Yep.
You want to be in ministry? Die to self.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles that we see in our culture and society.
Yeah.
And I say when I say culture, I'm more speaking to church culture.
Yes.
Not necessarily
not worldly culture.
Yeah, but church
social
culture.
media culture.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So as a lead pastor, as a senior pastor, you're saying, okay, this is what I would be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what
I would think their personal life. I want to see stability there within reason. I mean, when you're mid-20s, upper 20s, you're still figuring out life, okay? Yes, you get a pass. Yeah. You're not supposed to act like you're 40.
Yeah.
You're still an idiot at 27.
Your frontal cortex is still being worked out.
But it's a good 27 idiot, okay? We give you, that's good. In some of that, the drama and the chaos is because you're trying new things.
Yes.
And it creates uncomfortableness, and that's good. That should actually be celebrated by an older fart like me, right? Well, I should be okay with that. And I should celebrate it in them and not do it myself at some point.
Yeah.
Within reason. I mean, I still want to be innovative and things, but they are willing to risk in ways that sometimes we get a little bit older and we lose that.
Absolutely.
We need those younger people in our lives that are willing to take the risk, and we trust them with it.
So what would let's say you got somebody that's checking all the boxes, right? So they're good wife, good life. Their
theology's good.
Yeah, their theology's good. They're growing.
Solid.
What would be your steps as far as integrating them, plugging them in? What responsibilities would you start giving them? Right.
Yeah.
So I'm a senior. We're gonna role play here for a second, right? So I'm a senior pastor. I'm 55 years old. I've got these young whippersnappers. What do I give them? What responsibilities do I give them? Do I give them the keys to the building?
Right. You
like
say, I'm taking 6 weeks off, you're in charge, and you run.
Yeah, like
you don't do that.
Right.
You don't do that.
So for those that are older and looking for those, what responsibilities do we give to those younger ministers that are coming up that will help us gauge where they're at? Like what type of responsibilities do we give them?
I think, and I'm not the best at this, but and these are the things that I'm working out even within Ovation, so I'm not an expert at all, but some of the things that I think are working well, that we're seeing success in, whatever the age of these new onboarding of leaders are.
Right.
Because some of my onboarding leaders aren't the younger ones that I want to empower, but they're new leaders, and it's a similar process.
Right.
And that is, they have to be involved in actual, real ministry, not a to-do task.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's unpack that for us.
So that oftentimes we're like, hey, we need people that are leaders. Great, you're in charge of the facility, so you're showing up and you're cleaning, you're doing things, you're setting up rooms, you're doing the stuff. That needs to be done. I don't want to devalue that.
Right.
But somebody that's called to a pastor wants to minister to people.
Right.
They want to share scripture with people. They want to hear from God a message and reveal that to a group of people.
Yeah.
And gain reps doing that so that they're better at it, right?
Right.
And so what I've done to help not just delegate tasks to people and call them leaders or ministers, but is empower them to actually be the ones ministering to people in small groups, leading the lesson, teaching the lessons. When we do huddles as volunteers, and we've got different segments of volunteers, whether it's like an all volunteer event where everybody's there, I need you to share to the group of volunteers. Weekly, we do huddles before the service. This is something I'm actually just starting, is once a month, I'm letting key leaders lead communion for the group of volunteers.
Nice.
And so my challenge to them, and we actually did a theological church history study of the Eucharist.
Nice.
So I did that with this group.
Now go share that.
And then, so we have this understanding of the depth and history of what the Eucharist is. We're not just copying what a church that we used to go to did it, and we just fake it because this is all we've seen, but we have a theology of what this is. Excellent. And now I'm empowering them to hear from God for a short message, share it, and encourage the volunteers, and receive communion.
Love that. I love
that. With care ministry, go to the hospital. Pray for people. Visit people at home. Be the ones caring for people and ministering to people. And so doing that, I've seen people raised to great levels of responsibility and accountability and fulfill it and do that ministry, do it well, and are fulfilled. And the people are being ministered to better than me trying.
Yes.
Because I can't do that.
I think you just triggered a thought, right? So I think sometimes as pastors, we forget that our jobs is to equip the saints for the work of the ministry instead of us doing all the work of the ministry.
Correct. Now, what I'm doing is, those that are leading connect groups, those that are speaking to the volunteers, those that are doing all of that are then also scheduling volunteers and equipping the next layer of people and things, and are then figuring out, oh, wait, volunteers didn't show up to do X, Y, Z, or they didn't do it the way I thought. Well, did I communicate it properly? So them as leaders are now gaining these experience in the reps. Reps.
Yeah, exactly.
In order to figure out, okay, they're stretching these leadership muscles, gaining resilience, and are becoming better. And so how they're communicating to volunteers now, how they're structuring things, they're just getting better and better and better.
More effective.
Each cycle.
Yeah.
And so now I coach them. They'll bring me ideas and they'll say, hey, what if we try? And I'm like, we can. Let me give you some advice. We've done something similar to that before, and this is what happened. And explain it to them, the pitfalls. And I say, if you want to do that, I would recommend avoid these things. You can try it. You know what? If it doesn't work, we'd change it next time.
Yeah.
No
more failures.
Yeah. And so they've done things that I wouldn't do.
Yes,
I've experienced it. I've experienced it. It's perfectly fine. In fact, I love that, because then when it's their idea and they own it, then it rises and falls on them.
Right.
They show up early to make sure it works.
Yeah.
They don't want it to fail. If it's my idea, they don't care. You know. So I want it to be their idea.
I think to speak to that, I think one of the things that I would look for, on top of everything that you shared, is ownership. Ownership of ministry, ownership of that small group, ownership of that hangout, ownership of whatever it is that, hey, you're going to be responsible for it. But not just, okay, I'm doing this task because of my taskmaster.
Right.
But I'm like, no, this is mine.
Yeah.
Right? This is whether, like what you said, is like, it's either going to sink or it's going to sail, but it's up to me to make sure. I think that's one of the things. So for me, that's one of the things I look for when I'm looking at leaders. Like, do they own what I've given them?
Yeah.
Or are they just doing it because they're like, okay, let me just get this done.